So, welcome back. As always, I will tell you my dog is walking around and you might hear his pitters or him chasing the cat randomly if she comes out of hiding. But this week, I want to talk to you about something that is just as easy as breathing. And even if I don't know you, I'm going to, I know probably, because we're all human, that you have done it. We are all guilty of judging. And big or small, it's something that is so easy for us to do. It's like some crazy statistic. It's like it takes only like 3 seconds to fully have your mind made up on somebody. So that means only 3 seconds to judge. And why do you think that we are so quick to judge? Why do we think that we are allowed to judge? We are just as guilty of things as the next person. So it is just the human coming out in us. And I am 110% guilty of this because I am human. And I read this meme somewhere, not to get sidetracked, but I read this meme somewhere and it said, following somebody, in a slow-moving person in the grocery store shows that I'm truly not a nice person. And so I thought that was kind of funny, and I just wanted to slide that in there. Anyway, reverting back. When we judge others, I truly believe it falls into one of these categories. One, we're either jealous. Two, we are so far up on our high horse that we refuse to look down and see everyone we are crushing beneath us. Here's the thing. Most of us are in different stages of life. We have college kids, newly employed, engaged, newlyweds. We're a kid ourselves. So anybody, all the ages, I have no idea really the age range that's watching this, so cover all the ages. And that is we're just surrounded by different demographics, so in all parts of our life. So at work, you might be surrounded by a completely different age group or demographic than your friends, and vice versa. And with all that being laid out, you can see and process a few of the broad stages that we see, and you could break each stage down more specifically. For example, college kid who must pay for it all themselves, meaning all of their college themselves, and then there could be a college kid that doesn't have to pay for anything himself. It could be not so newlyweds and they are struggling for money, or not so newlyweds that get to rush off on a beach vacation every year. Everyone's life looks different because it is different. So each one of us is given a life and a path laid out before us by God. Now, if there was no sin in the world, it would be perfect, obviously, because man created sin. We weren't supposed to live in this imperfect world. We were supposed to be living with God in a perfect world. But since sin was brought into the world by humans, we must deal with all the horrible things like sickness, death, adultery, etc. You could go on, all the bad things. So our path gets a little crowded sometimes with mountains from east to west. And some, I hate to say it, are self-built. And some are put up because they're just out of our control. But after talking about all this mumbo jumbo, I'm finally going to get to my point. All of our paths are not going to look the same. Each of us has our own gifts and talents. And so when you realize you're not as crafty as Sally over there and with all her perfect scrapbooks, do not bash her and tell her that it would have been better if she'd done it a different way. Don't go and tell your friend something negative about her just because you're jealous of her gifts. You need to lift her up because she did an amazing job on that scrapbook, and that she spent hours and hours on, even though she wouldn't tell you, but she did. So, ladies and gents, do not judge others. because we have no right to. There is one judge, and there is one judgment every single one of us is going to have to go through, and that is the judgment that we'll face at the end of our life. So here's a verse from Matthew 7, 1 through 2, chapters 1 through 2, or verses 1 through 2. Do not judge, or you will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Isn't that kind of scary? Can you think of all the mean things you probably did as a teenager? And you're thinking, I am going to be judged how I judge other people? If that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. And so if that doesn't give you a reality check, I also don't know what will. So I want you to do something for me. Put up your hand and stretch it out right in front of you. Now close your fist and stick out your index finger, just like you were pointing at somebody. Okay, now look at that. Do you notice something? You're pointing one finger, but guess how many are pointing back at you? 3. So, next time you point fingers, realize there's 3 more pointing back at you. Here's another verse from Matthew 7:4. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? So to round this up, we have no right to judge. We will all be judged one day by a higher power. A sin is a sin, and if you're struggling to figure out what that all means and entails, read the Bible. Knowledge is key. It helps us because as humans, we need rules. And the Bible provides us with all of the rules we need to be Christian, what it truly means to be a Christian. And if you ever have questions about anything, just feel free to ask me. I'll try my best. And if I don't know, I'll say, I do not know. But I will find out and I will get back to you. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up. As always, much love and God bless to you.